A pleasant good evening to you all. I'm Shane Harris. We are getting very close to the end of Shane Harris Tonight and the start of my very own Shane Harris Tonight special series of events known as the Mayhem Tournament, which you'll find out a lot more of when we get into the month of April. At the same time, I decided that it would be best for me to collect some of the posters I found on IMDb and put it all into a little binder of sorts. The Shane Harris Tonight stack of stars. All of them that I covered, all in chronological order. So, we all know that we began with DNAs. And it's been pretty good so far. But we stay put in Canada, because Camp Lakebottom is the show that we're going to talk about now, as this is episode 20 of 25 here on Shane Harris Tonight. And let's get down to some of the basics here about this series. This is a 2013 comedy that 9 Story has done. Very silly, very weird, and at times it does give you a bit of goosebumps, because the show relies a lot, and I'm going to say a little bit too much, on shock value. The characters in question, as you see, on the right you have Squirt, on the left you have Melissa Ultro, she plays Gretchen, and in the middle, a bit cropped out of the photo because printers LOL, is Scott McCord's character, McGee. All 3 of these characters have great personalities, but McGee easily has the most energetic out of some of the characters that I have on Shane Harris Tonight. And you may be wondering, how come these characters ended up back there? Well, it turns out that in the first episode, they were diverted off onto a side road, and they ended up in a rundown camp known as Camp Lakebottom. All thanks to a rich and snobby little boy named Jordan Buttsquat. Yeah. And at the same time, there is another asshole on the show named Susie, a character that Brent McAulbrey plays and actually got nominated for an award for, which is pretty damn good. The series did come to the US via Disney XD, and let's just say the ratings were not that good. The critics were fine with the show, the fans were as well, but unfortunately, the ratings, the time slots, and the lack of advertising, it was pretty damn bad. Meanwhile, the series did have one piece of pilot footage, and unfortunately it's just a photo that never made it to IMDb for some reason, in which both Gretchen and Squirt have a completely different outfit, and McGee has different colored shoes on. Instead of the weird tan and caramel, he would have blue and white to match with his blue and black shirt. And I believe it is the one where McGee would have his one foot at the front of the boat while the other 2 are like paddling. So yeah. Meanwhile, amidst all the hoopla, the show did get a good second lease of life because of its distributor. 9 Story decided to put out all the episodes in full and in clip form on multiple YouTube pages. And some of them you'll find in other languages, including Italian and Spanish, and French. And of course, English. So, go check it out if you can. But unfortunately, you're not allowed to comment on it because of the fact that these videos are marked and labeled as made for kids. So therefore, you can't use your mini player or comment on it at all. So, yeah, not good. But the series overall does feature a couple of good nods. Great, I just heard some ATVs going by. Ugh. Life in the boonies, folks. Get used to it. Anyway, there is a few episodes that are pretty good that I noticed. There's one where McGee meets his older self, who happens to be voiced by Scott McCord himself as well, which is pretty damn nice. Though he did reveal later on in an interview with another YouTuber saying that due to his age and how deep his voice got, he can't do McGee or Yang from Yin Yang Yo anymore because of how squealy their voices were. So that is an unfortunate side effect. Yep, an unfortunate side effect of the times. But in the meantime, the fan art is pretty good if you look on DeviantArt, though there are some people who are committing to a very strange, crossover. This show with McGee and Disney's The Ghost and Molly McGee. And you can easily tell why, because there's two characters with McGee in their name. So, I do not allow that kind of ship at all. So, overall, this series gets a B for its quality. The animation is flawless for it being a Flash-done show. And it gives you a lot in terms of variety. You get comedy-driven episodes, you get action-driven episodes, and you get the thriller/horror-like episodes that perfectly exemplify what the series is supposed to be. But that is all I have to say. It's a great show, none of the less. And reruns of it do not exist here in the US. But when the show ran in Canada through Teletoon, it did pretty fine, though I don't know if there is reruns up in that country anymore because of the current state of the Canadian animation scene, which has been very paltry. So, our next Shane Harris tonight will be the last one for the month of February, as we're going to take it to the skies. And we're going to talk about a series that is similar to Johnny Test in terms of how famous it got real quick and how much the popularity and fire collapsed. We're talking about another big fad, because we're talking Little Einsteins next week. Bust out the batons, it's gonna be interesting. And the stories I have to tell is also gonna be very, very interesting because, let's face it, it is a part of 2015 lore. You'll know why next week. Till then, I'm Shane Harris. We'll see you then. Good night.